is a great day to be alive, and I am so thankful for God, Jesus Christ, who lives in us. Today's video is titled BNB Tiger Dream Update, the movement before the breakout. Before we get started, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing that I'm sharing is financial advice. I'm simply sharing dreams, visions, and interpretations that I feel God has given me as it relates to crypto. Now, let's get into the video. So the first thing that I want to point out is this date of March 6th to the 15th, which I think is very, very important. It is a set of dates that I did not purposely omit. I just literally found this out today as I was doing some more research. And actually, I was putting this PowerPoint together when I found this out. And it makes the PowerPoint and what I'm about to share makes more sense. A lot of times when I'm putting these things together, I'm praying about it. I'll do a little bit. I'll come back, do some more as God has given me the understanding. So March the 6th through the 15th has to do with the Winter Olympics 2026 as well, the Paralympics. Originally, I had shared the date of February 6th to the 22nd as being the date for the Winter Olympic Games for 2026. And that was partially correct. What I should have given is February 6th to the 22nd, as well as March 6th to the 15th. Two sets of Olympic Winter Games for 2026. I was only giving you the dates for one. Again, I did not know about this second half of the Winter Olympics, so I apologize for not knowing this in order to share it. But I also believe that this could explain why we have not seen the BNB Tiger breakout, just movement as if it wants to break out. And that is where I want to pick up where we're talking about this dream BNB Tiger and the tigers at the fence looking as if they are about to break out. That is what I feel that February 6th through the 22nd, the first half of this Olympic game represented as far as BNB Tiger goes. What we saw during that time, I'm going to get into all that. And then I want to really get into the detail of the very first part of this dream as it relates to what I saw and how it carries over to trading and specifically BNB Tiger and this breakout that we're looking for. And yes, I am still connecting this BNB Tiger dream to price movement with Luna. As BNB Tiger breaks out, I feel that we're going to also see price movement with Luna. But let's go ahead and get into the details of this very first part of this dream as it relates to what I saw and what you guys may have also seen within this first week of the Winter Olympics for 2026. So again, the beginning of the dream, I was going to get this Pentagon game that was behind a fence. This fence was unfinished, so I was able to just simply walk through. And now I'm standing between two fences. The first fence row is where I saw the two tigers. And then, of course, I'm standing behind the fence. So I'm standing behind the second fence row. Now, I shared in the first video a few weeks ago how that when I saw these, looked up and saw these tigers, that they looked very rambunctious to me. They were moving around. One in particular was jumping up to the fence. And as much as I wanted to retrieve this Pentagon game, I did not want to take any chances of being ripped to shreds by one of these tigers. So instead of getting the game, I turned and left the same way I came in. And once I got back on the other side of the fence, I looked up and I saw one of the tigers jumping on the back and the head of the other tiger, and it jumped over the fence. Now let's go back to me recognizing the movement of the tigers behind the first fence. They were excited. They were jumping on the fence, one more so than the other. And for me, this was symbolic of what I saw during the week of February 6th through the 22nd as it relates to BNB Tiger and the price movement that I saw. And the way that it was moving, it was as if it was getting ready to break out at any moment. I saw this notification on February 21st. BNB Tiger was up 26%. And then I saw this notification on the 22nd. BNB Tiger was up 12%. And then on the 23rd, I think I saw where it was up 14%. So it continued to move on. But again, my focus was on February the 6th through the 22nd. Again, tiger movement, price movement, as if it was going to break out at any moment. So that was the tigers behind the first fence. Now let's pinpoint something else. The tiger breaking out. After I cleared the fence, I looked back and I saw that one of the tigers broke out. I'm referring to this as a small breakout. Why? Because as the tiger approached the second fence, the fence that I was once standing behind, when he approached the second fence, it was stopped for a moment. The men that were working on the fence, They saw that the tiger had escaped the first fence, and so they were stretching the wires of the fence to block the tiger, to keep the tiger from getting out. But in spite of all of that, the tiger still broke loose. So now what are we looking at? We're looking at a short breakout to start. That's the tiger hopping the first fence. Then consolidation, or a slight pullback. I don't expect it to be much. That is represented by the tiger being blocked by the workers. So for a moment, it was in that position, but they were not able to hold the tiger behind the fence. The tiger had a total breakout, and that is what we're looking for when it comes to BNB Tiger. That is what I'm believing God for when it comes down to this second half of the Winter Olympics, starting March the 6th to the 15th. We're looking for a total breakout. So far what we've seen is price movement as if it's about to break out. Then we move on to the short breakout to start, some consolidation, and then total breakout. That is the details that I wanted to pinpoint in this video. Someone's asking about which BNB Tiger was it. All I can tell you is that on Coinbase base, that the OG token, the old BNB Tiger token, it's a white tiger. And if you go into the description of this coin, it talks about what happened, the migration. It literally calls it the OG BNB Tiger. So for those who wanted to know which one I was referring to, this is that coin. And again, for the week of February the 6th through the 22nd, what I believe we saw was movement as if it was about to break out. That is the first part of that dream. Now, I will say, after everything that I've shared with you guys as far as confirmation and things that God was revealing about this Olympic Games in connection to this BNB Tiger dream, all I saw was movement as if it was about to break out, I was a little bit confused. But I literally, as I'm making this video, still doing research, came across the second half of this Winter Olympics for 2026. And I believe this is why God held up a lot of my research. What I mean by that is a lot of things that I could have added in my videos had great starts, but I ran into dead ends. I'm going to share what used to be dead ends as a form of confirmation now. With God, I know it's all about timing. Sometimes I can see how there's a possible connection, but for the most part, I much rather God give me the okay on, yes, this is confirmation. And this could explain why a lot of the research and things that I have found out, even between the last two videos that I made, I haven't been able to share because it's like I hit a dead end. It made sense. It seemed like things were coming together, and then it went blank. And so now those blank things now have an ending that confirms a lot, an ending that sticks with this date range for this second half of the Olympics of March 6th through the 15th. I have a specific date. We'll get into that in a little bit. So knowing this, nothing changes. The Paralympics that took place in 2018, this is where the original research came in as far as the Pentagon goes, the Pentagon venue, nothing changes. It was in the same venue, same location, South Korea. Doesn't change anything about the connections that I've made with Luna. Everything stays the same. But what I have is something that I'm going to call in addition to. So instead of having one Pentagon, we have two. And I want to talk about the one that's in red, the Department of War Pentagon, because this is where I went first with my original research. So there I am. I'm looking at the Pentagon. I'm thinking about the Pentagon in my dream. And I'm saying, okay, God, Department of War, Pentagon, is there something that has to do with technical or war games that I need to understand? Because in the dream, I was looking at a game. Well, based on what I'm about to share about this Pentagon, it is not a game, but it's something that I feel may take place during the Winter Olympic Games. Again, this is leaning more towards, or actually leaning all on, this second part of the Winter Olympics for 2026. So although it's not a game, it is very, very important that we continue to pray about what I'm about to share. I actually literally did a video. I had no idea that this would become a part of this BNB Tiger timeline. If you have not seen that video, it's titled Midnight to Red Dawn, Marching Towards War. If you have not seen it, a little tiny spoiler alert. The focus of this video was going back, recapping the dream that I had about Iran and also Charlie Sheen. I shared that I had been so focused on crypto, BNB Tiger, and Luna that I had kind of lost sight of what was going on as far as Iran goes, this dream. And what triggered me to go back to it was me seeing this article after the Super Bowl. And just a heads up, the Super Bowl will come up quite a few times in this video because everything is tying together. So after the Super Bowl, another spoiler alert for that video, I saw this article of something that Charlie Sheen had to say about the Super Bowl halftime show performance. And when I saw Charlie Sheen, I immediately thought Iran, because Charlie Sheen is tied to My Dream About Iran, Red Dawn. So as we're connecting the Pentagon or the Department of War with this BNB Tiger Dream, I'm looking at how the Super Bowl is tying me back into what is going on between the US and Iran. So I had to do my research because I didn't know what was going on. So I wanted to know what was going on between the US and Iran since 2006, since this year started. Well, there were two talks of negotiation. One occurred on February the 6th, which was the very first day of the Winter Olympics for 2026. Not a coincidence. And then the second round of talks happened on February the 17th. Now, February 17th stood out to me because that was the day that I saw on Peacock the men and women team pursuit final speed skating that took place on February 17th. And on that day of the opening of this event, I saw the Venturian Man, what was pulled from that BNB Tiger Dream. So February 17th is standing out as it connects to both the US and Iran, what's going on with that, and the Olympics. And during the week of February the 6th through the February 22nd, a lot of talks I see based on articles have been going on about the US striking Iran. And there were several articles that I saw about Trump being undecided. This is what we're going to do. We got more talks going on. And as far as I know, final talks is supposed to be today, if I'm not mistaken. But a lot of movement that I'm seeing based on what I'm hearing in the news. Lots of movement as far as military goes over in the Middle East. But again, my research on this Pentagon, the Department of War, has moved from me having a blank thought to now making a lot of different connections as it relates to the timeline, not only for the first Olympics, the first half of the Winter Olympics, but also moving us into the second half. Okay, so we talked about the Department of War, that Pentagon, that research that went cold. Now we're going to talk about Tom Hanks. He was another portion of my research that also went cold. Tom Hanks' research came in between my first video about BNB Tiger and Lunar Breakout and the last video that I made when I shared the Vitruvian Man, me seeing this drawing on the opening of that Olympic Games on February 17th. So before I got to Tom Hanks, I was doing research on Leonardo da Vinci, of course, the Vitruvian Man. That led me to the Da Vinci Code, which led me to the Da Vinci Code movie. And in that movie, Tom Hanks is the star. Well, I said, okay, Tom Hanks, when was his birthday? July 9th. That did not go at the timeline of February 6th through the 22nd. And again, I did not know about the second part of the Olympics, so this is where I got stuck. But there is so much more in this tie to Tom Hanks, ties that I would have never put together. Here we go. Now, just as a side note, before we get more into this thing about Tom Hanks, I saw an article on February the 12th, something that I took as a sign that, yes, I'm showing you a lot of things about BNB Tiger. And this article simply was about a tiger who passed away, and the tiger name was Naveen. I thought, that's unique and odd. You would name a tiger Naveen. But okay. Now, I told you guys I was going to bring up the Super Bowl quite a few times, and here is where we're going to be taking a look. During the Super Bowl, and also during the Olympics, there was a lot of repeated previews of this new Peacock series. And then I saw an ad talking about how the advertisement of this new Peacock show during the Super Bowl and during the Winter Olympics got a lot of reviews and people viewing this new series. And it is called The Burbs. So I was like, okay, let me go to Peacock and do a search and see what this is. And so when I did a search, I found two. One with Keke Palmer and one with Tom Hanks. Of course, the one with Keke is a remake of that particular movie. This with her is a series. So now I get why God delayed my research on Tom Hanks, is because he wanted me to come across this first. So then I said, okay, God, I see a connection here. You've moved me from the Da Vinci Code to now this old movie with Tom Hanks that is a remake of this new series that's being previewed during the Super Bowl and during the Olympics. When was this release date for this old movie? Well, come to find out, the release date is February the 17th, the same day that Iran and US had talks this year, and also the same day that I saw the Victorian Man on the opening of that Olympics game. Again, not a coincidence. So I began to look into the cast, and one of the things that I found out was that a lot of people, a lot of the actors from the old version of this with Tom Hanks, a lot of them made quick appearances within this new TV series. And Tom Hanks did not make a personal appearance in person in this documentary that she was watching. The article was saying, I think in the first episode when they were introducing the town, that his picture showed up in that documentary that he was watching. That is how he's connecting with this new version. No personal appearance, just a picture. Now, getting to the cast, the new cast for this new series. As I begin to look at all the names and the people who played in this, one name stood out to me, and it's the character name for this individual, and his name is Naveen. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, I just saw this name a few days ago, Naveen, and that was the name of the tiger from that article that I saw on February the 12th. So now I have Naveen, the actor in this movie, and I have Naveen, the tiger. So I said, okay, let me go find when's Naveen's birthday, and Naveen's birthday is March the 8th. That lines up with our second half of the Winter Olympics for this year, the Paralympics, starting March 6th through the 15th. So now we have 2 Olympic Games that are taking place, that have always taken place. I'm just a little bit slow. 2 Olympic Games taking place, Winter Olympic Games for 2026. We have 2 Pentagons, and now we have 2 movies that have to do with the Burbs. Or I should say a movie titled The Burbs and a TV series that is titled The Burbs. So more details as we're looking at this BNB Tiger timeline. I'm adding here March 6th through the 15th being the Winter Olympics. And then I'm adding specifically the date of March the 8th. And then we cannot forget about the date of April the 6th through the 7th. That's specifically for Luna. That goes back to Minnesota, Tim Walz. And I will add those videos that's specifically to Luna and this particular date range. And then this is just a collage of things that I put together as it relates to the Super Bowl on one side, and as it relates to the Winter Olympics on the other side. And then in the middle, we're looking at the movie and the series, The Burbs, and how all these things come together. That is how I see it. I'm still praying about this. Again, I apologize for not knowing about this second part of the Winter Olympics. And then the last thing I want to share is just fun facts. My little note card that I shared in a past video, things to keep in mind about this BNB Tiger Dream. And these are things that I have specifically seen in the Winter Olympics, aside from the BNB Tiger Breakout. Again, we saw the movement versus the breakout. So starting with the Pentagon, we've already made that connection that the 2018 Winter Olympics venue was shaped like a pentagon. Moving on to the tiger, during the week of the Olympics, the first half, we saw breakout-like movement with BNB Tiger. They call us decentralized. We saw that with the Olympics as it relates to the mascot. The mascot at this Pentagon venue was a white tiger, which is the same as the BNB Tiger logo, The Vitruvian Man in the drawing, which surprised me the most. We saw that on February 17th at the opening of one of the events. And then the lost tooth. Thank you to the person who put this in the comment section. I missed the hockey game. I didn't watch the hockey game, but I had heard about this, but didn't really look into it. It didn't even dawn on me when I saw it. He sent this message saying that one of the hockey players lost his tooth. And here he is. He lost his tooth, but went on to score the game-winning goal to give the U.S. the gold medal. So a lost tooth that happened during the Olympic Games. So when I saw all these things being checked off, I just rejoiced in the Lord, thanking him for the opportunity to even be used to even understand this, to know how to research this. He gives me the understanding of how to do that. I can't take any credit for anything. Thankful that I'm able to share with you guys. Continue to pray for me. It does take time to go through and cover all this stuff. And so sometimes I'm tired, but I don't do it for no other reason, but because this is what I know God wants me to do. This is what the task that he's put me to. And therefore I want to do as best I can with what he's given me. One more thing. something to look for as this with BNB Tiger is unfolding is to look for these events, the unfolding or the resolution of these events. One being Savannah and her mom, the Bitcoin crash, also what's happening with the US and Iran, and also keeping an eye on what's happening in Minnesota as it relates to all that fraudulent stuff, all that stuff that's been going on with the shootings. All these events have been tied in with everything with the Olympics. And so the unfolding of these things, any new news, that is very important to take note of. And then one more time, the correction in this Winter Olympic schedule. Again, we're beyond February 6th to the 22nd. Again, I tie solely the movement of BNB Tiger as if it's about to break out, one more than the other. That brings us to March 6th to the 15th, which is the Winter Paralympics. And then March the 8th is the day that I'm looking at specifically as it relates to that name, Naveen the Tiger, and Naveen the actor from the new series, The Burbs. I'm not promoting this TV series. I'm just taking the research that I did from it, applying it here. And then also April the 6th through the 7th, Tim Walls' birthday is on April the 6th. Again, that ties into Luna. So again, although I haven't said a whole lot about Luna in this video, we're still looking for price movement with Luna around the same time that we see this BNB Tiger breakout. Well, guys, I hope this makes sense. Again, I apologize for not knowing this date, but we have it now. Let's continue to pray. Continue to pray for me. That is all that I have for this video. Until the next one, God bless.